Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Guys, I've got kind of an interesting episode for you, and we're going to do kind of a thought experiment. I want to talk a little bit about the place that gambling plays in this game, and I don't mean like RNG, like just praying to the luck gods, like, please God, I have 15% chance to win, like my Darth Revan's slower and Basti slower, like, but I have to do the mirror, and if I get that 15% chance, like, I'll win the whole match. Like, it's similar to that, but there's a strategy. We need to be relying on, good, sound strategic practices, but there are certain points in the game where you need, if you're against a good player, like against bad players, you can usually just like pick and choose what you want and maneuver yourself to a place that you want to be. And against a good player, though, they're going to set up a defense that's going to be very tricky. For instance, this is the defense that we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to show you guys the teams that I have available. You guys can choose. You can pause it and map it out how you think you should approach it. But we want to make sure that we're not going to screw ourselves in the back. And we need to give ourselves the best possible option. And I mean, I know that this scenario is a little bit cherry-picked. Like, you can't really help that. So we're gonna do our best, though. You guys can let me know if you think this is the dumbest experiment or video ever. But you guys can at least get some insight into how I'm making my decisions in game. This isn't about how to select squads for success. I mean, we could probably make a whole series of videos on scouting and trying to figure out what to take. But once you've taken it, once you actually are in the field, like you need to be able to figure out how you can leverage your situation to the best advantage. So before we do anything, I did want to thank my patrons, guys. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. You guys are amazing. I love you all. You are a huge part of why I do this, frankly. It's not just the support. It's like the money is great. The mental support, the well wishes, so to speak, man, it truly goes so far. You guys are amazing. So thank you, and let's move on. Alright, so here are my defenses. We're actually going to go a step further, guys. We're going to assume that I have General Skywalker on defense as well, because this is one of my early defenses, and what I've been doing lately is I roll up this Bando team into the Rey team, and then put General Skywalker in the 501st. So you can see these are the teams I have on defense. This is a kind of light version of what I've been rolling with lately, and I feel like this gives me just enough wiggle room. And to be clear, guys, this is a 7.5 million GP account. We're not going to pretend like it's 4.7 the way my alt is. We can maybe do this, if you guys like it enough, we can maybe do this for my alt some point, because I'm sure you guys, some people would like to have some insight on what I do with my alt as well. But, I mean, it's unavoidable. We're going to do 7.5, and if you don't have that, then hopefully you get a good glimpse of what it's going to be like at that level. And then you can realize just how crazy it would be for me to play like a 9 million GP account. So let me show you guys now. We're going to do a little bit of sensory overload here. Alright, so the teams up top are the teams we're trying to counter, and these are the teams on the bottom are the ones that we have available. Now, I do really find it frustrating to use a menu. If you guys ever watch my streams, I never select teams off of a pre-selected menu. Like, I just can't. Like, for the purposes of this, I kind of had to build it this way. But keep in mind, like, my Vader team is so fluid. Like, I'll take Traya with him, or I'll take Piet with him, sometimes Watt, depending on who I'm countering and what I'm doing. It's very fluid, and so doing this feels a little bit unnatural to me, but hopefully it can actually convey to you guys what I have available. So take a look here. I'm going to get a drink because I'm a little parched. All right. So this is a real life defense that I faced earlier this season, and I want to show you guys kind of how I would approach it and how I want to find a way to leverage things, because there's not a great solution. This is a high-end player. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to place a good defense. And the worst part of it is I don't have any scouting information. He quit the game for a while, and then he had a friend of his playing for him for a long time. Oh, for a while, for as long as he was gone. So when he got back, all of his stuff, it was like there was no point in actually scouting him because he did something totally different. So what do we do in that situation? And I'm not, like I said, we're not going to talk about what teams I selected for offense and defense. That's kind of beside the point. But regardless, we need to find a way to leverage this to our advantage. And that doesn't mean we're going to just bludgeon the front zone and then pray that something's in the back. Like, that's a losing strategy. Maybe there are Jawas back there. Maybe there are Ewoks. Maybe there's Supreme Leader Kylo and General Skywalker in 501st. Like, if there's Supreme Leader Kylo and the 501st, we could be in huge trouble here, because a high-end player is going to place a good enough defense that they think they can also clear on offense as well. And you don't want to put yourself at the mercy of your opponent. You don't want to say, I pray that they have something good or something bad back there. I pray, dear Lord, like, make them make bad decisions. Like, if you're facing a bad player, like, there's no point in watching this, kind of. Like, you can kind of maneuver things and pick and choose what you want. If you're playing against a good player, a high-end player, you're going to need to gamble just a little bit to get an advantage. Because if you try to just go straight up counters, you're going to run out and you're going to lose. So, we're going to assume that the back zone is Supreme Leader Kylo and General Skywalker, which would still give them 2 Galactic Legends and a bunch of Jedi and a bunch of other really good teams, in fact, because this is 7.5 million, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. Or there is a lot of wiggle room, rather. You can see how many I placed a good defense, and you can see how many teams I have available. So, kills anything, obviously, it can't. These teams can't kill anything, but they're kind of take all comers. The Jedi are kind of just a blob here. Like, the Jedi Revan is roughly what I like to run if I'm running him lead, or against like General Grievous or something. But you can also mix and match and make a Jedi Knight Revan with Jedi Luke team to counter Kylo, etc. So, we need to assume the worst case scenario in the back. We need to be able to full clear, and we need to get into the back zone as cheaply as we can without just sacrificing everything. Like, so, what are we going to do? There's a lot of noise already. Like, there's 5 teams. We have to kill 5 teams and 2 in the back, probably 2 really good teams. How do we kill these teams? And so there's already a few predetermined things. Like, I took General Grievous, and General Grievous happens to be one of my favorite counters to Commander Luke. So he's got Commander Luke on there. We'll take Grievous. That's a pretty high percentage win. We're just going to do this. And if Grievous loses, we'll still be able to probably finish him off. Now, so that kind of reduces the noise a little bit. Now, one other team that I've been really enjoying lately has been killing General Grievous with Mon Mothma. Now, this is a little bit of a gamble, and it's one that we don't necessarily want to have to make. This is one that if a better solution comes available once we have the front zone crushed, then we can kind of just slide this off and use something stronger. But for now, we'll kind of do this just to reduce the noise. Now, you can look at the cleanup probably crews. Some of you may argue that the Brood Alpha can actually take down this Mando team, the Bando team, whatever. And that's true, kind of. It's about a 50% win rate right now on the swgoh.gg stats site. It's 50% chance. I'm not into coin flips, guys. That's not my idea. Like, if we're facing a truly heinous defense, maybe 50% is acceptable. But I know my geos aren't that strong anyways. Like, they have some relics. I don't want to mess around with the idea of Bando just one-shotting my characters one at a time with his whistling birds. Like that's not my idea of fun, and he can totally do that to any of them if he's set up right, which he is. It's a good team. So, what do we do here? We need to make sure we can clear Rey. Like, it's imperative. It is so important we kill Rey, because she'll be the gatekeeper for ships. We have to kill Rey. And that means the only 2 teams we have available to kill Rey. I guess we have 3. We could use Darth Vader with Watt and just mix and match. That is absolutely an option. I've done it many times. I'm well schooled in how to do that. We could also kill her with Jedi Master Luke. That's a high percentage, decent banner win. And we could also use Sith Eternal with Watt and get that win. There's a lot of different options, and in the end, I think what we want to do, we probably want to plan on using one of our Galactic Legends. It just gives us more flexibility. These top 3 squads are going to be the ones that we want to keep for the back, especially the Jedi, because the Jedi we can mix and match to our best advantage, but only if we know what's in the back. Now, you guys have seen some of my videos recently where I use Jedi Revan to clear something in the front, but that's only because there's nothing great up top. There's nothing that's that pressing. Like, I could still probably clear even without the Jedi Revan team. So what do we do? Like, can Night Sisters be of any use? Probably not. Can First Order? Probably not. Troopers, in this situation, no. Like, they can't actually kill anything here. The Bounty Hunters could potentially kill the Bando squad or the Darth Revan squad, though Darth Revan would be a pretty low percentage. And so we're gonna have to use one of these kills anything teams up here, maybe 2 of them. But if we do 2 of them, it gets real dicey. So what I ended up deciding, guys, I'll just give you a freebie. I decided on Vader versus Darth Revan here, because Vader can kill this Rey team for sure, but the Galactic Legends, I wanted to keep them for whatever was in the back. If they have General Skywalker in the back, I need to have either a Jedi team or Sith Eternal to kill him. We can't use Jedi Revan, really. We can't use Vader to kill him. Just not really an option. Vader is going to be the least use in our worst case scenario in the back, so we're gonna use him. That also does, however, mean we need Piet, so this trooper team is a little bit canceled out. And right now that's okay, we don't have any pressing need for them. Now, if we assume that it's General Skywalker and Supreme Leader Kylo, because that's the worst case scenario and we always want to have a plan, then we're going to say Sith Eternal can kill the General Skywalker team, and we'll say that if it's Supreme Leader Kylo, a combination of Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Revan and Jedi Knight Luke will kill the Rey team and a Supreme Leader Kylo team. We can do that. We can assume that. And all of these things are possible only because, and that I don't know if I've hidden this well at all, we have a gamble. We have a play. We have a play here, and that is using bounty hunters. Now, I mean, you guys, maybe you guys can mix and match, and you can agitate and figure out what things I could have done better. And I'm not that interested in hearing how I'm playing poorly, but I am interested to hear your feedback. Here's the thing, guys. The bounty hunter team has about an 80% chance to kill this Bando team, according to the stats site. And everything. It's like, okay, if you have way better mods, maybe it's way higher. If you have terrible mods, maybe it's way lower. There's too much variance in what the comp is. Like, this only has one tank. I guess Vander counts as a tank, but he never taunts. So there's only like IG. If we can dispel him, he's not actually going to. There's not going to be a taunter for a while. So, there's a ton of different variants. Like, how does Daze impact a Jango team? What do we do? And like the Geos, maybe they work, maybe they don't. But the way I see it, guys, is for our best chance, if we want to be fully prepared for whatever's in the back, and that's possible here, we have a shot, we can leverage the fact that we have about an 80% chance, give or take, to use Django to take out this Bando team. Then you get to the back, and you have a team available for anything. Whatever is going to be in the back, you can beat it if you find one team that you can gamble on. Now, like I said, if it's against a bad player, sometimes you can just like, oh, look at that, I could use Night Sisters here for a quick 55, or oh, this is easy, I'll just use troopers to beat this team. But he picked a really good couple teams here because it needs a really good team to beat the full bastard Darth Revan squad, and it needs a really good squad, at least some kind of squad, to kill the Bando team. There's not a lot of counters, contrary to what all the people are saying out on the interwebs. People say that Bando isn't a good team, and they're crazy. It's crazy talk. It is a good team. Yes, there are quite a few teams that can counter it, but all those teams are all very good teams. And I wouldn't want to take Padme against this. It would take a while to kill Bando and the rest. And if Bando hit Anakin at the wrong time, game over. Also, you could also struggle against Nest at the end, trying to kill Nest, because it's tough to kill her and get a good shot. So there's a lot of different considerations here, guys. There's not a ton. If you've set a really strong defense, there's not a ton of things that can kill the Bando team. However, the Django team, you have an 80% chance, and if you take that 80% chance and win, you're going to be able to leverage it into a clean sweep for the rest of the fight. I don't see how there's another way, really, to finagle it so that you can get a high percentage. It seems a little nuts. You would use an 80% chance on your first attack, basically. In a lot of ways, that seems like negative expected value. 1/5 of the time, you just end in abject failure and you start with a fail, even though you have good teams available. But the truth of the matter is, the back zone, people trap all the time. You guys saw my defenses. I have 2 Galactic Legends back there. I commonly have 2 Galactic Legends on defense, or I have a good defense trapping. And that's what happens to people. They attack my front zone, they use up their good teams up front, the teams that they need to counter me in the back, and then they lose. The truly scary players are the ones who can gamble a little bit and say, alright, I'm going to take a little bit of a mismatch, something that I'm not entirely sure about, and if it wins, then I'm going to be set for the rest of the fight. I can leverage that into win after win after win, and there's nothing that you can do to stop me. That's the scary kind of player, and that's what doing this with Django does. So use Django, kill the Bando team. If it fails, most likely, and this is an important thing too, if your 20% failure rate ends with 0 kills, then maybe it's a worse decision. Maybe you need to find another option. But if we manage to kill a couple of these characters and we fail, we still have a decent chance of being able to clean up efficiently. We still have, Geo's, once you kill a couple guys here, Geo's probably become a 90 to 100%, somewhere around there, counter. So, you can clean up, and then, you also have a good defense to be able to back you up. So it's not the end of the world if you lose. You're putting yourself in a situation, though, where the rest of the match is going to be easy, and you have relatively low risk. If you lose, that 20% chance, yeah, it happens. If you gamble 5 matches in a row, which, frankly, you probably don't have to. This is against, a really high-end player. If you do gamble, though, and lose, you still have a good defense that they have a good chance of struggling against as well. So, that's kind of my explanation on, gambling isn't about just, pure luck. Gambling is about finding one focal point to leverage an entire match around, and being able to then, once you do get that kill, you can just string off, like just rattle off win after win after win after win without having to get crazy or trying to get sloppy. Like instead, I mean, yes, you could use Jedi Knight Revan. You could use Jedi Knight Revan here. That's fine. Let's say you kill Jedi Knight Revan, or you use Jedi Knight Revan. In the back, though, has Supreme Leader Kylo, and it has General Skywalker, or it's General Skywalker. I guess if they have Supreme Leader Kylo, you could probably use your Jedi Master Luke to be able to kill Kylo, and then hopefully you can use your Supreme Leader Kylo to kill General Skywalker. That's probably pretty possible. However, once you do that, if they have those two, then who do you kill Rey with? Like there's not a great option. There's not a great option. So then it's like, okay, so we don't have Watt anymore because we use Vader. So we can maybe use Sith Eternal to get like a really messy 47 against Rey. I've done that before. You can do that. Or you can use Jedi Master Luke to maybe leverage something against the Rey team. But then how do you kill General Skywalker? You don't have these Jedi anymore. Maybe you could kill General Skywalker with Sith Eternal, but then how do you kill Supreme Leader Kylo? Like there's too many questions. You need to have these options, because a good player, if you're playing against a truly good player, they're going to trap you with something. Find a way to gamble. That's the answer. That's really the only option you have. Like, as I see it, that sometimes you just need to gamble. Once you do, you can find that leverage point. So I don't know if this is actually, if I did a good job of explaining it. This is probably going on for too long. This is something I rely on, frankly. You guys see my streams on Twitch, and you see I'm all nervous, and it's because I'm like, I know that if this gamble fails, if this gambit fails, I could really, really be struggling later on in this match. Like, it has enormous implications. It's not just like, oh, like this is like an A- team. I'm taking my own like B+ team. Like, man, if I lose this B+ team, this is going to be embarrassing. I don't care about embarrassment. I care about like the implications later on. Like what happens to me way down the line when I've traded all my pieces and I'm still one short. Against a really good player, you can really struggle. And so trying to find that one focal point, that one gambling point that reduces the RNG as much as you can, that's going to set you up for success in the long run. So I've gone on for way long enough, guys. I appreciate your patience. Give me feedback. Tell me if you liked this video or not. The result was actually pretty anticlimactic. He didn't have anything too crazy in the back. So in this case, of maybe being overly cautious, but next time I probably it's well warranted. And frankly, we need to be thinking about these things against like every time. Why not play at the highest level you can? Try to assume your opponents are really good. What are you going to do? How are you going to play it? What changes if you assume that they have a high level of skill? How are you going to tackle these teams up front? Don't use anything too expensive, because you need to be able to tackle the back. So, all right, guys, for real this time, I'm going to go. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.